undefeated Darrell Waltrip was underneath the Richard Petty.
So this is it. My last race at Martinsville, Virginia. I've won 11 cup races here. I got 11 grandfather clocks.
Checkered flag, he takes the flag, and this place goes crazy.
But I've never won a Craftsman Truck Series race. That just bugs the heck out of me. Man, I'd love to win one for my fans, my friends, my family. Toyota, I want to go out. I want just one more time to stand in victory circle and feel the thrill of victory.
He's done it. It's what?
You don't think I'm serious?
Rock and roll.
Let me tell you something. These cats are in trouble, and guess what? They know it. Keep your eye on the old number 12 Toyota Tundra, because I'm taking that baby to victory circle. You can count on it. Take it to the bank.
Man, make it look too easy.
At this point in my career, and this point in my life, that'd be big. It'd really be big.
It's the final go-around for Darrell Waltrip. 33 years in NASCAR, and now it's one and done, making his 17th Truck Series start, and this will be his final Truck Series start. And as he wraps up his career, two drivers are battling for their first ever championship. Ted Musgrave and Dennis Setzer have separated themselves from the rest of the pack. Only 5 points separate the two of them. And it will all take place here at Martinsville Speedway for the final short track race of 2005. Speed Channel's coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series pre-race show is presented by Craftsman. An overcast day in Martinsville, Virginia. A cool day as well, 61 degrees. So the drivers bundled up in their suits, as are the fans in the stands right now. One driver who has definitely made a big story since the last time we raced is Jack Sprague. He is no longer driving the number 16. Ray?
Well, you're right, Rick. He moves from Chevrolet to Toyota, and I guess the big question for me is, Jack, when we look at your career, 3 championships and 25 wins, all in a bow tie, a big change. Why make it right now in this point of your career?
Well, it's one of them situations, you know, with a 16 truck, we didn't know what we had for next year sponsor-wise. We didn't know what direction we were going. We agreed that, you know, I had to take care of myself and he had to take care of himself. And I wanted an opportunity I could win race another championship in, and I think this is it.
Okay, that is Jack Sprague. He has a good truck today. He'll roll off 10th. He's not in the championship chase this year, but a couple of guys have one heck of a battle.
Two veterans that have never captured a series championship in NASCAR have separated themselves as the favorites to hold the trophy at season's end. Setzer looked as though he would run away with the 2005 season title, but Musgrave's late consistency has closed the point gap to just 5. Both drivers have visited victory lane this year and have shown signs of dominance. With only 5 races remaining, Setzer and Musgrave are focused on one thing, and that is to be holding the series trophy in Miami.
There's always pros and cons when you're the championship leader going into the final 5 races. The pro for Dennis Setzer, he leads Ted Musgrave by 5 points, but the con, he leads by only 5 points. Dennis, we know you have a solid truck here in Martinsville. You've dominated Milwaukee and IRP with this truck. This is going to be a good day for you.
It is. You know, this Silverado's been pretty good since we unloaded. Pretty quick during all practice runs. It was decent during qualifying. We lost a little bit, just got on top of the track and got skaty, but a lot of trucks did that. But our Silverado's pretty good today.
Track position is key, and our championship leader starts from 5th. Now let's welcome our good friend, Bob Dillner.
If Dennis Setzer is the hunted, then Ted Musgrave is the hunter. And right now, he is hot. Second in points, second in the last race, and he's looking for his second victory of the year. But truck number 1 wants to be numero uno by the end of this race. But how difficult of a task will that be, Ted, being how good Dennis Setzer is on the short tracks?
It's going to be really tough. Dennis is excellent here at Martinsville, but we've got a good truck, and I've always kind of finished near the top 5 each and every time. So if we could do that, keep the points close, heading into 4 to go after that, that's what makes this Craftsman Truck Series exciting.
Ted Musgrave not all too shabby here either. He has a couple of second-place finishes in the Cup Series here.
As we look at the 4 top 10 point standings, we documented the top 2. Dennis Setzer, Ted Musgrave, only 5 points separate them. Now, mathematically, quite a few drivers are still involved in this, but the two have separated themselves from the rest of the group. The last race for Darrell Waltrip, and his drivers had a chance to go over and sign the hood of the truck that he will drive his last ever truck race in. Speed Channel's coverage of NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series pre-race show is brought to you by Craftsman, celebrating 10 years tough of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
I went to races when I was 6 years old with my grandmother. I'd go to bed at night with my little transistor radio and I'd be listening to some races. I really thought that's what I wanted to do, was to be a stock car driver.
I've never seen such a good horse racing.
Racing just came natural for me. It just was always something I could do.
After 17 years of effort, the Daytona 500 belongs to Franklin, Tennessee's Darrell Waltrip. He's done it.
One of the most impressive careers in all of NASCAR ends today at Martinsville Speedway. Ray Dunlap's caught up with DW.
And Rick, let me give you just a few of the numbers. When you look back, of course, it all started in Owensboro, went to Nashville, but 84 career Nextel Cup victories, and then there just happens to be 3 championships. Oh, that one Daytona 500, that was a good number. But the number I want to talk to you about is like 6 or 7, because that's how many times it feels like you and I have done this goodbye thing. I mean, it's starting to get like this is Groundhog Day. Is this really one and done for old DW?
Yeah, I guess, in all honesty, it is. You know, I'm 58, and I love doing this. And I do it every year, you know, but there just comes a time when you can only have so many last calls, you know, or one and done. So I don't want to end up like some of the guys where I fake it, you know. I've only done that. This is the 4th anniversary of my last race. So, but I doubt if I'll do it again.
Any shot at winning?
You know, I'm not sure. I was so happy in practice. We were up there in the top 10. David and I, Ruderman and I both were. And then we qualified, and we qualified terrible. So I'm a little worried. But I know I'm good on the long run. It's just, don't know if that'll pay off or not. We'll have to wait and see.
Let me tell you about the Groundhog Day movie. What happened was that guy kept waking up, and sooner or later he got it right. The old DW starts 30th. Now let's go to the front of the grid.
Actually, we're back here in 35th with Brendan Gaughan, but we're going to talk about our second biggest news story that happened in the last 28 days since we were on the air. That was that Dodge has decided to refocus their manufacturer support on some of the Dodge truck teams. Now, that directly affects teams such as Brendan Gaughan. Brendan, how is this going to affect you next year and the rest of the season?
Well, you know, Dodge Motorsport's been with the Orleans team a long time. We've always talked about since I was 15. They're not pulling out of the Craftsman Truck Series. They just have decided to refocus some of their efforts on Nextel Cup. So a lot of us Dodge teams have been left figuring out what we're going to do. The Orleans team, we're going to stick with Dodge. We're going to go one truck next year. We got a sponsor with Jasper Engines. Looks like they're coming back, and we're just going to do a one truck team again and focus on winning a championship again. But the things that it affected was stuff like this year where we knew we weren't going to run Steve next year in the 62. So we had to make decisions on how we end this season and what we do in the future. So Steve, fortunately, I think will have a ride by next week at Atlanta, or at least close, and I'm excited about that.
Okay, and Scott Lynch is in the 62 truck for now. Now, Brendan Gaughan starts 35th, but he'll have good company back here because Dennis Setzer has to start in the back for unapproved changes. Bob?
Rick Crawford is not necessarily known for his short track prowess, but he does have a victory here, 3 top 5 finishes, and he is on the pole here today. So what's the game plan, Rick?
Run our own race today, Cowboy, Starland, and everybody on the Circle Bar Truck Corral Ford crew is planning their race. We're going to try to stick with it, and hopefully we don't have to make too many adjustments, and we'll have this truck in victory lane.
Rick Crawford ready to go. Here's today's invocation.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise here today for our invocation being led by Michael Harrison of Raceway Ministries in Martinsville, Virginia. Our Pledge of Allegiance by Miss McMillan's 4th grade class from Ridgeway Elementary School. Also the presentation of colors by the 2nd Battalion, 116th Infantry, 29th Infantry Division, Virginia Army National Guard from Lynchburg, Virginia. And today's national anthem by the Martinsville High School Brass Ensemble.
Let's pray. Father God, we thank you for this day that you've given us. Thank you for the good weather without rain. We ask that you give protection to every driver, every team. And we thank you so much for your love and for giving us the sport of racing. Lord, thank you for giving us Jesus as Savior. We pray you bless us today, and please keep us safe as we honor you in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
On a cool day in Martinsville, Virginia, the crowd bundled up, but a good crowd on hand to watch some bumping and banging at Martinsville Speedway. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, famous for the best racing in all of NASCAR, from the big tracks of Daytona all the way to the short tracks of Martinsville Speedway. And this, the final short track race of 2005.
But I love the curve.
Short track racing for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Welcome to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Kroger 200 on Speed Channel. Hello everyone, I'm Rick Allen alongside of Phil Parsons and Michael Waltrip. Now, we've talked a lot about our points championship. Phil, why don't you assess our two contenders right now?
Well, our leader is Dennis Setzer, and he is so good at this racetrack. We call him the short track master. He's got 2 wins here. He's led over 300 laps. He always runs well here. Now, we know that he's going to have to go to the back due to unapproved changes, but he has won this race from 33rd, which then set a record for the farthest back a winner had ever started. Ted Musgrave, on the other hand, is no slouch here either. He's finished second here twice in a cup race. He knows his way around this racetrack. Gene Need, his crew chief, told me before the race, if we can stay somewhere close to Dennis Setzer, and when we leave this racetrack, we're in the driver's seat.
Well, Michael, could it spell trouble for Dennis Setzer starting all the way in the back?
Well, trouble's everywhere on this racetrack, Rick, whether you're starting in the front or the back. You know, he's in the back. He's going to be faster than the guys he's raced against. That'll allow him to stay out of trouble, in my opinion. Nobody's going to be diving in on him, trying to knock him out of the way as he works his way through the field. Sometimes in the front, if your truck's not right, there's a lot of pressure on you to go fast, and that can cause you to make a mistake. So I know Dennis Setzer's psyche right now is just to say, let's chill out. It's 200 laps, but I'm fast here. We can get to the front, and we can retain our point lead.
Well, Michael, you talk about a lot of trouble that could be taking place here at Martinsville. We take a look at the Aqua Velva track description, and it is a tough paperclip half mile.
I'm under the opinion, Rick, that your car's got to handle good here, more so than anywhere else on the whole circuit. A driver has his hands tied if that thing won't go left because the turns are so tight. There's no upper groove. There's nothing you can do other than just fight your way around these corners, and your truck really needs to cooperate with you.
Look at the Aqua Velva race analysis. Again, 36 trucks starting, 200 laps, just over 100 miles.
Yeah, you see the purse is a little bit over $400,000. The pit window, that's the critical part. This is a 200-lap race. In the spring, we run 250 laps. You can go about 140 or 50 laps on fuel, but most people, if they're going to do that, that's going to be the back half of the race. They may want to get their work done early so they can get their pit work and have good track position for the end of the race.
Well, let's get the engine started. Let's go down for today's command.
And now to give the command, Zone Coordinator for the Roanoke Valley Area Kroger Stores, Grand Marshal Kevin Boone.
Drivers, start your engines.
The Kroger 200 is just moments away. When we come back, green flag will fly.
Cause Kane never could, so I always put all my blood and sweat on the line. So I do what I feel, if you don't think I will, say I won't.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed Channel is brought to you by Craftsman, celebrating 10 years tough of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. By Ford F-150, built Ford tough. By High Endurance Oils from Mobil, official lubricants of NASCAR. Truck's about to roll out. As you see the officials holding their drivers, letting them know that it is about time to roll around this track. We'll take a look at our Super Chips starting grid. And on the pole for the 4th career time for him, Rick Crawford sets a new track record, as well as the other 7 drivers behind him. 8 drivers broke the old track record, but it's Rick Crawford who will get credit for holding it.
Kyle Busch will start on the outside. He's already won 2 races this year in that 15 truck.
Brandon Witt and Dennis Setzer, like we reported earlier, are both going to the back of the field. So DW has some company back there. He can follow some guys to the front.
Have to look at that number 60 a few times. That's Jack Sprague that'll be driving a Toyota, the first ever run for him in that manufacturer's.
Keep an eye on number 4, Timothy Peters, outside row number 4. He won a 300-lap late model stock car race here just a couple weeks ago, so he's got a lot of experience on this racetrack recently.
You see Rudiman there starting on the outside of row number 9. He was really good in race trim. Be interesting to see if he can get that Toyota up to the front. He's on the cusp of the top 10. He could go either way in a bad race or a good race. He can solidify his chances to finish in the top 10.
There's our race winner from earlier this year, Bobby Labonte, inside row number 10, not in the 47 truck. He's in the number 16 Express Motorsports truck for Dave Fuge.
Schrader, Darrell, both qualified back in the field. Tam Topham there in the inside row 15, and good run for that team. They've tried to make some races and solid start. He has to be proud of that qualifying over DW.
Absolutely.
Scott Lynch in that number 62 for the remainder of the season, as Brennan Gaughan had mentioned to us earlier.
Brennan Gaughan will start on the last row, inside row number 18. He had a problem in practice, made some contact with a wall, had to go to a backup truck. He starts 35th.
Drivers that missed the field. There were 38 who attempted to make this show, and only 2 missing the field, Kelly Sutton and Frank Wilson Jr. And we mentioned drivers that are having to go to the back. Brandon Witt with a motor change will go to the back, as well as Dennis Setzer. We were told that was a power steering pump that they made a change after qualifying. We're going to be riding along with a few of the drivers and making his last start in the Craftsman Truck Series. We will ride along with him. That's old DW.
Looks good laid up in there, doesn't he?
Sure does.
58 years old, but feeling young as ever, I know, and happy as he can be right now.
There's a Federated Auto Parts Chevrolet of Ken Schrader. Ken's going to start 28th. He's got a top 10 finish here on a truck at Martinsville.
Talked to Spencer just before the race started. He said, we qualified terrible, but we got a good truck. Watch out.
Bobby Labonte in the number 16 this time around. Last time when he won here, he was driving the 47. This time it's the 16 for Bobby Labonte.
There's Dennis Setzer. You know he's always going to run well here. Again, 2-time winner. He's going to go to the back. He's won from 33rd. He's going to be a little bit farther back than that. You see him starting 5th, but he's going to have to go to the back.
There's a cat that won at Memphis just a month or so ago, Brandon Witt. He's falling to the back as well. I believe the motor change on that truck. Is that what I heard?
That's right.
And we look at the truck that starts on the pole. He has the opportunity to win the Craftsman Win from the Pole Award. It's $14,000 if he's able to find victory lane at the end of this one. If he doesn't win, another $2,000 will be added to the purse. And let's head down to Wendy Venerini.
A new combination in today's race is Jack Sprague in a Toyota. What's not new about that combination is driver Jack Sprague with crew chief Tony Furr. They've worked together in the past, as recently as 2003, and had success back in the 80s together. When they tested here last week in Martinsville, things clicked instantly. They are definitely working well together. They were fastest in practice. Jack Sprague is more determined than ever to get his first win here in a Toyota today. Bob?
Wendy, this is a hometown race for Timothy Peters. He'll start 8th, and he is fast. The reason why it's a hometown race, he lives about 30 miles from here, and he has competed here a lot. In fact, in the big late model stock car race that they hold here in the fall every year at Martinsville, he's finished in the top 4 in the past 4 races, including a victory just a few short weeks ago. And as a local boy, he knows all about the Martinsville hot dog and the stories behind it. In fact, he had one just before climbing into his truck here today. He's hoping to hot dog around in Victory Lane here today, right?
Well, Bob, his owner is Bobby Hamilton, and of course Hamilton's won here in the Nextel Cup Series. Bobby Hamilton, a great driver at Martinsville, but his last 3 races at this track have not been good. 20th is his very best finish. But when you look at the record books, you will see that Bobby Hamilton has led 577 laps in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series at this track. And if you're going to win at Martinsville, you got to spend a lot of time out front. Today, my eye is on the 04.
04 will be out in front of 2 trucks that had to go to the back. Again, the 38 of Brandon Witt and the 46, our points leader, all the way at the back of this field.
I like what Ray's saying there with the 04 truck. Bobby doesn't usually qualify as well as he has here this weekend, and right up near the front, expecting to stay there all day long.
As they come out of turn number 4, the green flag will go in the air, and Rick Crawford will lead them to the start-finish line. Kyle Busch on his outside, and we're underway with the Kroger 200.
Difficult racetrack to get a hold of when your tires are cold and the surface is cold like it is. Rick Crawford's going to pull out to a couple truck length lead over the 15 of Kyle Busch.
Wow, this is tense times right now for guys in the back. You know, I said trouble can happen anywhere, but obviously Dennis Setzer really needs to be on his toes right now, making sure that he does not run into the back of someone as these trucks the chain reaction as they slow down in the corners.
Rick Crawford with the lead on lap number 1. That's the 3rd time he's led here at Martinsville, the 4th time he's led a race this season.
Great battle for 3rd. That's Tim Fido of the 65 truck on the inside. What a terrific qualifying run he had. Had a great 10th place run in Vegas the first time, or the second time, I think, maybe in that truck. Did a great job there. Bobby Hamilton may get that 3rd spot over Tim Fido.
Yeah, Tim probably just laid over there and let Bobby have it. Oh, Bobby slipped, so here comes Fido back. But this is a little bit more side-by-side racing than we saw all of the race here in the spring. The concrete was fresh. These guys could not run side-by-side. We're seeing these 2 trucks side-by-side. And look at the gap that's developed between 2nd and 3rd as they race side-by-side.
Ted Musgrave looks like he might be pinched in behind Tim Fido right now, and a huge gap between 2nd and 3rd.
Well, it'll close right down now, I bet. These guys are starting to work it out, get single file. They'll try to run up there and catch those leaders.
But I like the fact that they could run side by side and keep a reasonable speed up. Yes, they weren't as fast as the top 2 trucks, but they were maintaining a pretty good speed and running side by side. As you mentioned, we never saw that.
Never happened in the spring, and that's why we have so many cautions here, because there's no options. It looks like there's a glimmer of hope to be able to run around the outside of this racetrack today.
We just saw Timothy Peter in the yellow Bailey's number 4 on the inside of his owner in the blue 04 Bailey's Dodge. And here another battle for the top spot. Again, Rick Crawford's held it from the very start, but Kyle Busch closing that gap right on the bumper.
You know, we saw Rick Crawford win the race in Loudon in this very truck, so he and Cowboy are getting their stuff together. But right now, Kyle Busch wants that lead.
Oh, problems. Coming out of turn number 2, we've got problems. Bobby Hamilton, and it looks like Mike Skinner also involved in this one. Mike Skinner making his 100th start today in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, gets involved in this problem coming out of turn number 2, and that's our first caution.
Michael, as you said, trouble can happen anywhere. This was fairly close to the front of the pack. Here's Mike Skinner, who also runs very, very good here, and Bobby Hamilton involved.
That's one bullet that Setzer has dodged since going to the back. What you almost got to think happened, Phil, was Bobby Hamilton was trying to get down to the inside. He was losing all kinds of ground up top. Oh,
we got big time sideways.
Wow.
He essentially just spun out, and maybe Todd Cleaver might have just tapped the 5 truck. Maybe not Mike Skinner may have just turned left to try to avoid Bobby Hamilton. They made some contact.
Wow, Bobby Hamilton spin. That tells you how tough this racetrack is, Phil. People think, you're running 90 mile an hour. It's flat. How tough can it be? These things get away from you. They get away in a hurry.
And Bobby Hamilton, for pretty much the whole start of this race, has been on the outside line.
Take a ride with Darrell here. He's at the back of this pack. He's going to see this coming off the corner.
I'd say I think his spotter did a great job right there, because Darrell slowed down before the truck ahead of him did. That means his spotter was in his ear saying, we got a wreck, got a wreck. You saw the yellow flag out to the right, and he was able to avoid disaster.
Chase Pistone in the 07 looks like he has motor problems. He's on pit road. We'll be back to tell you who else comes down pit road early.
I'm sorry. I had to yell at me.
Tomorrow night on Speed Channel, it's Wind Tunnel with Dave Despain. He heats up the airwaves, scorching opinions, fired up fans, the hottest stars in motorsports make his show. Plus, Dave is on hand to fan the flames of controversy. Wind Tunnel with Dave Despain tomorrow night at 9 p.m. exclusively on Speed Channel.
Mike Joy is going to be his co-host tomorrow night.
How about that?
Wealth of knowledge with
a lot of years
Mike
experience between the two of those guys.
Definitely.
Yeah, they've seen a little bit of it all, I would say. Uh-oh.
Problems with the 50 of Todd Cleaver.
That's part of the 5 right there.
Yeah, we speculated that he was maybe pushing the 5. Not Todd's fault, certainly.
Here they come to the green flag. It's Rick Crawford bringing them out of turn number 4, and we're back to racing. Kyle Busch tries to make the pass as they go into turn 1. Crawford hugging the curb. Won't allow that to happen. Ted Musgrave has moved right up behind the 15, but man, the 14 and 15 pull away from Musgrave when they came out of turn 2.
Yeah, but I guarantee he closes that back up. We didn't get a real good chance to see. The 15's faster than the 14 right now, and the 14 is not going to cut him off too many more times, Phil. The 15 will say, I've seen about enough of that.
Absolutely. The 15, we talked to Richie Waters, his crew chief, before the race. He said we never even made a simulated qualifying attempt. Kyle puts it on the outside pole with no qualifying practice, but he said we had a great race truck, and obviously they do.
Look at Ricky Craven. That's a strong run for that 99 truck today. Early in the going, he's flexing his muscle. He's always been great at this racetrack. Won in the Nextel Cup Series, and now he's trying to put that season back on track.
Remember, he was second here in the spring to Bobby Labonte, so he knows how to get around this racetrack, and they were very, very good here, and they were so good here, and they still came back and tested a few weeks ago to try to get even better.
I think that's a smart thing to do, Phil. When you're good somewhere, come test and get better. If you're bad somewhere and you come test, you might get up to mediocre. That's not how you make headlines in this sport. You got to win, so take advantage of your strong tracks.
Right now, single file line, Crawford, Kyle Busch, Ted Musgrave, and Ricky Craven now separating themselves from Tim Fedewa, who's currently running 5th.
Well, don't you know that Ted Musgrave would love to get up there and lead a lap and get those 5 bonus points? He hasn't led a whole bunch of races this year. He led, obviously, he won St. Louis in dominating fashion. He's only led about 3 races this year where we got a side-by-side battle for the lead developing.
Yeah, he's got to let him in there now. Kyle was in there far enough where Rick didn't have a choice. Now watch him freight train Rick. He gets stuck to the outside. Here comes Ted. Here comes Craven. He'll be lucky if he can get down in front of the 65. And look at the gap between the two.
He should land about 4th here, but he needs to let these guys go so he can get in 4th. If he keeps running side by side long enough, that'll allow Tim Fedewa on the next pack to catch them, and he may not get down.
No, it's not a given right now that he'll get side by side behind those guys. Look, Peter's on the inside.
Yeah, Timothy Peters stuck his nose in, and he made a little contact with the 65 of Tim Fedewa, pushed him up off the bottom of the racetrack. Now the freight train's going to get Tim Fedewa.
Rick Crawford able to duck in back in 4th position. Again, he was leading until Kyle Busch was able to get the nose on the inside. Then that dropped him back to 4th. But his spotter's got to tell him, hey, there's an opening back there. You better take it so you don't get stuck outside.
Yeah, but that's easier said than done. I think I could just squeeze this guy down, he's thinking, and I'll get this spot. But early in the race, you got to be careful.
Like that was a situation right there that looked like there may have been some room between the 59 and the 6, but Tim Fedewa went in side by side with the 59. By the time he came out, the 6 was side by side.
Bumping and banging going on between the 65 and the 6. Hornaday not wanting to give up any position to the 65 of Tim Fedewa. He makes the pass around him. Now the 46 of Dennis Setzer, again, started at the back of this field. He's in 26th currently.
He's just running a Dennis Setzer type of race. He was dealt the hand he was dealt. He had to start at the back. He's not going to take any chances. He actually had a little bit of a problem in practice here, and he had some damage to the right side of the truck. And I said, Dennis, that's more damage than you've had in 4 races here. You very seldom see him with much damage on this truck.
And with a little bit of clean track the last lap, Bill, he was one of the fastest trucks on the whole track. Outrun the leader by 1/10.5. Ray, what are they saying down there?
Well, Michael, I just wanted to add to what you were saying about testing. You know, we have limited amount of testing in the Craftsman Truck Series, so Dennis Setzer and his crew decided to go to Caraway Speedway. It's a track where Dennis has won late model championships at. Now, Caraway has a little more banking than Martinsville, so I asked his crew chief, Eric Phillips, do you really learn anything when you test at that racetrack? He said, here's the deal. Dennis knows exactly the feel he's looking for at Martinsville, and he knows how to compare that feel to what you learn at Caraway. He says, we don't take our notes from Caraway and bring them directly here, but we make the truck feel the way he wants it.
And so the 38 of Brandon Witt and the 46 of Dennis Setzer, both making changes to their trucks, had to go to the back. They're working their way up to the front. Another truck working his way toward the front, started 30th. Darrell Waltrip now running in the 20th position.
Run up on Schrader here. A couple of NASCAR Nextel Cup veterans getting ready to dice a little bit. They've caught Terry Cook. Darrell's lap times in his truck are very competitive. He ran about a 20-20 a few laps back. That put him right up in the top 10, 12 fastest trucks.
Darrell Waltrip looking for his first ever win in his last race in the Craftsman Truck Series. Kyle Busch leads this one after 26 laps. Behind him, Ted Musgrave, second in the points. Could he make up the ground today? Welcome back to Speed Channel's live coverage of the Kroger 200 at Martinsville Speedway. Kyle Busch still holding off the hard-charging Mopar Dodge of Ted Musgrave.
This is good stuff right here, Rick. We're getting a long green flag run here early in the going. 33 laps in. There's not another 30 laps, and these guys are going to be faced with a tough decision. What do we do about tires? What do we do about pitting? How is our strategy going to play out? And I can promise you one thing. Oh, look at Setzer. Setzer spins.
Setzer almost into the wall in turn number 4. He actually makes some contact in turn 4 with the left front of that truck, and the caution will come out.
Oh, wow.
He's going to get going before Kyle Busch gets there. He will stay on the lead lap.
But he's hit that left front fender.
He definitely spun around and caught the left front fender on the outside wall. Let's see if we can take a look at what happened. He's following Brandon Witt. He drives down the corner.
This is off of turn 2 here, and he comes inside of Witt, down the back straightaway. I know this feeling. I did this exact same thing.
Just overdrives the corner.
It's so easy to do. That's exactly what Dale Jr. and I both did in cup practice earlier. You get down on the inside of somebody, you're going faster than you think, you lose your grip. Now watch this left front corner here. Depending on how hard it hits.
That's the critical one, is that left front corner.
And it scraped the wall. It definitely did some aero damage, but I don't think any.
We'll take another look at it. He makes some contact with the rear, not a whole lot, but he does come around and make contact with the left front.
I don't think there was any suspension damage to that, but he definitely. Watch this.
Attaboy, come on.
Uh-oh.
Clear.
He wanted to get by the 31 so bad he wanted to beat him down to the corner. And unfortunately, around he went.
We were having Nextel Cup practice, and my car's been a bit of a struggle. I drove around Dale Jarrett just like Setzer did, got in the corner, spun out, and I was telling him on the radio, I'll pass somebody. I'm spinning out. Bob, what do you got? Hello?
Terry Cook in with his Ford pickup truck. He's got some damage to the front end of that pickup truck and maybe some rubbing on the right front tire as well, Ray.
Well, Bob, the big damage is on the left rear, but it is away from the fender, so they know that's not going to be a problem. They wanted to look at the left front because they were afraid that they've got that grill opening for the brakes clogged up a little bit, but it looked like it was clear enough to me. They put right sides on that Chevrolet for Setzer, and they'll go back to the track.
I would think Dennis will come back in and look some more and see if he needs to do any more repairs. Put his left side tires on. He will restart this race, I'm sure, with 4 fresh tires. But he may have big time dodged a bullet there. It didn't look like a whole lot of damage to the left front.
Would you say that was a mental error there, Phil? I know it's easy to do here on this tight racetrack, but racing for a championship, 30-some laps into the race, how would you score that when if you were, what's Dennis thinking right now? He knows what he did. Did he think he messed up? The circumstance?
I think he's going to think that he messed up here. And he doesn't make very many mistakes at all, but that is one where I think he just overdrove the corner, just like how easy it is to do here. And that only takes 10 feet. You can overdrive this corner by 10 feet.
Green flag flies again. Kyle Busch taking it first as he has led the most laps so far here at 21 laps led. Rick Crawford led the first 17 laps. Ted Musgrave holding on to second.
We mentioned Ted Musgrave. Gene Neat said that we just want to come out of here very, very close to Dennis Setzer. Well, Ted Musgrave is running his race right now. He's running second right behind Kyle Busch. Dennis has already had trouble. He had to start in the back, and now he's made some contact with the wall. He didn't have time to come back in and get his fresh left side tires, but he does have those tires left.
I guarantee you Ted Musgrave couldn't believe his eyeballs when he came down to turn 4 there and saw Dennis Setzer spun out up against the wall. I bet he thought, how in the world did that happen?
Well, now Dennis Setzer had made it all the way up to 19th place when he got sideways and turned around in turn 4, bringing out our second caution. Side-by-side racing. Hornaday on the inside. Matt Crafton on the outside.
Hornaday was able to drive up underneath Matt Crafton coming off the corner. There's just really not that much grip on the outside, so it's a matter of time before you're going to be past there. Here comes Todd Cleaver. Talked to Todd before yesterday before qualifying. He said, man, I really struggle so much at this racetrack. He said, I'm pretty good on short tracks, but I have not figured this racetrack out. By the time he got to the end of practice, he was a lot better. And Mike Beam said, see, I told you could figure this place out.
I think Wendy's down there in their pits. What are they saying there in the 50 pit, Wendy?
Todd Cleaver's running 9th right now. Now, he did get involved with Mike Skinner on that very first caution. He has damage to his right front nose if you look closely. But Mike Beam, his crew chief, did not want to give up that crucial track position. They decided to stay out since it just looked like cosmetic damage on Todd Cleaver's truck.
How much can that affect the heating up of that truck?
Well, they've already scienced that out, obviously. If it was a heating problem, they would have come and fixed it. And so that's the only thing that type of damage will affect here at Martinsville, Rick, is the cooling of the engine.
Up front, we've had a little bit of contact between the 15 and the number 1.
Musgrave's wanting those 5 points, Phil.
I'll tell you, they put a lot of extra bars in the front of that truck for some support. They felt like they may have to use that bumper, and they wanted to keep that front end intact. A lot of extra support. Ted Musgrave is able to do a little beating banging if he needs to.
Phil, you see these trucks running right down next to the curb when they enter the corners. We talked about there's not much of an outside groove here at Martinsville. A lot of people wish that when they resurfaced this racetrack that the folks here at Martinsville would have put in the graduated banking, maybe flattened the bottom of the racetrack a little bit more and rolled it up so that there would be more banking on the outside. Further to go, but you get more grip on that extra banking.
It worked at Loudon. Loudon is so much better now. They're talking about doing that at Charlotte possibly, as we got a side-by-side for the lead battle.
Ted Musgrave with a preferred line, and Kyle Busch is going to let him have it.
He doesn't have a choice. There's not a groove out there. If you're faster and you can get under a guy, you just got to give up.
There's the 5 bonus points Ted Musgrave was looking for. And again, only 5 points separate Ted Musgrave and Dennis Setzer coming into this race.
Dennis Setzer is going to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll be back.
Well, Ted Musgrave out in front. Kyle Busch holding on to second. Ricky Craven has moved up to third. Timothy Peters in fourth. And rounding out the top 5, Jack Sprague. It's all Ted Musgrave in front of this one at Martinsville. Tim Topham in the number 70 gets spun around at Martinsville, bringing out our 3rd caution of the day.
Talked to Tam a little bit in the driver's meeting before this race, and he was really thought he had a good truck, looking forward to it. Looked like Skinner just dove in there and run into him. But in Skinner's defense, you'll have that here at Martinsville.
A lot of damage to the back of that number 70.
Basically have a 1-groove racetrack, and everyone's fighting for that bottom groove. Unfortunately, Tam's going to end up the loser in this situation.
And here come our leaders. I guess our leader of Ted Musgrave and everyone wanting to follow him down pit road. Bob.
David Rudiman on pit road. He's running in the top 10, which is a pretty good run for him here because he struggles at this racetrack. David Rudiman says the truck is tight right now in the middle of the corner. The only change here, air pressure adjustment. A 4-tire stop for David Rudiman.
Looked like a good stop the guys had there. A little bit of congestion leaving.
got a few trucks that stay on the racetrack. The 46 of Dennis Setzer's one of them, right?
Ted Musgrave is also in. Phil, I thought it was a little bit early for these guys to pit, but he decided for 4 tires, Musgrave will get away.
Ray, I agree with you. I think it may be a little bit early. I think most of these teams would like to have seen at least 70 or 80 laps. Wendy?
Jack Sprague is also on pit road, including Kroger, our pole sitter. Jack Sprague is out and away. His truck has been tight. They have made adjustments, lowering the air pressure and making a track power adjustment as well.
I gotta like what Dennis Setzer's done here, Phil. He got all his track position back in one swoop. He's sitting there 4th. These guys stayed out. Got to be a good move.
That's Timothy Peters out in front in that yellow Bailey's number 4 Dodge.
There's a situation where there comes the Mike Skinner, the 5 truck on the inside, makes contact.
Timothy Peters in the Bailey's number 4 Dodge will bring the field to the green flag and is leading his first laps in the Craftsman Truck Series.
He may have stayed out with some pit strategy. You see Mike Skinner dive to the inside of the 46 of Dennis Setzer. They make a little contact.
Skinner said it worked pretty good for Tim. When I did it to Tim, I'm giving it another whirl. Luckily, Dennis gave him room. Skinner's aggressive right now. He got spun early in the race. He's deciding he's going to march this thing to the front.
Got a little bad news for DW, though.
Yeah, DW a little quick coming out of his pits.
Uh-oh. Made him go back to last.
Yeah, they sure did. And that's a long way right now.
It is. But, you know, that's not over. Just think about Dennis Setzer. He's been last twice, and now you're running the top 5, Setzer. You can overcome that kind of stuff with pit strategy if your truck's fast enough. If your truck's slow, it doesn't matter what kind of strategy you play, it ain't going to work.
If it happens on your last pit stop, though, that's when it's tough to try to overcome, because that means you just have to pass all those trucks without any benefit of pit strategy.
And that's not going to happen.
Not going to happen here at Martinsville.
Well, Darrell Waltrip had made it all the way up to 16th position after starting 30th, and now he goes all the way back to 34th. Up in front, Bailey's number 4 of Timothy Peters running very well. Wendy?
Crew Chief Randy Seals decided not to pit Timothy Peters. Timothy is definitely confident coming into this race on our 3 weeks hiatus. Timothy Peters was racing right here at Martinsville, and he won that late model race in the Bailey's 300. Now, his brake pedal has been real soft, so he's taking it easy on the brakes. We'll have to watch Timothy Peters and his brake situation for the rest of the day.
That could be a good thing, couldn't it, guys?
No. Soft brake is the worst thing in the world.
At Martinsville, for sure. Great run for early on for the 59 of Robert Questl's Jim Harris Trucking Dodge. They've really had some challenges this year, but they've had a couple good runs, and this would be a great place for them to have a good run, very close to Jim Harris's hometown.
These 2 trucks stayed out again to get track position, and now they're separating themselves from 3rd and 4th.
Well, those trucks stayed out as well. There's Jarrett Johnson. He was hanging in there pretty good, holding up the line a little bit, and one of his fellow competitors gave him a little nudge, got him up there in that outside groove, and he's dropping like a lead balloon. But prior to that, only in his 2nd start, showing some speed in that 08 truck.
Jarrett Johnson, Jimmy Johnson's brother. Bob?
Jimmy Johnson is actually watching his brother out here today. He's on top of one of the rigs in the infield and is helping him out on his spotting duties. And you can just see he just got a little nudge there from Matt Grafton. But right now, Jarrett Johnson, he's being preached by his brother. Just have patience. Michael, how key is patience here at Martinsville?
Well, it's easy to have patience until some cat runs into you, knocks you out of the way, and then all of a sudden the whole world's up under you, and you start saying, "Well, I gotta go. I need to make some ground." And once you start falling, it's so hard to regroup, and that's what's happening to him right now. Everybody on the track is going around him.
The 75 of David Starr drives by. Brennan Gaughan, the 77, is going to be next.
That's why, as a driver, you want some options. If they want to knock you out of the groove, great. Give me a second groove to race in. You know, and here at Martinsville, there's not a second groove, and so therefore, wow. Did y'all see that?
Yeah, that 60 of Jack Sprague got a little bit sideways.
I'm sorry, that was just wild. They were 3 wide on the front straightaway.
Well, and you're talking about different grooves on this racetrack. You've got you've got nowhere to go on the inside of this track because of that curb, too. I mean, that curb is 4 or 5 inches tall on the inside, so you can't go on the inside of that or even really get your wheels up on it.
Well, anytime the groove is right on the bottom of the racetrack and there's no other options, then you're going to see a lot of guys get frustrated, quit being patient, and start rooting people out of the way. Look at here, our points leaders battling down the front straightaway. Setzer and Musgrave side by side.
Remember, Musgrave has 4 fresh tires.
He just decides to hit him.
Move him out of the way.
How will that go over?
Well, I told you he had more support in his front bumper, so obviously he used it.
More support and 2 more tires. That's all he needed to knock the point leader right out of the way.
Remember, Dennis Setzer only got right side tires after his spin and contact with the outside wall. Ted Musgrave on this most recent caution play got all 4 fresh tires. He's obviously faster. Let's see if we can take a look at it. We pretty much know what's going to happen. He's going to drive down in there. He's going to get against his left rear quarter and almost turn Dennis Setzer around.
Again. Setzer's out of the groove again. That truck's not working well right now.
Dennis Setzer had problems on lap 34, got spun around. Ray?
Hey guys, Musgrave added a rubber in the right rear on that last pit stop. He said, how in the world did we come in as the leader and not go back out the leader? They had to explain to him that some of the other guys had pitted earlier, and that's what the deal was. But Musgrave's truck coming to him right now. He felt like that adjustment was better than working on the track bar. Will help him get through the corner.
Sometimes you just can't hold a horse back, Rick. He decided it's time to let that thing run. Drove around the outside of the 15 truck and is just marching. That thing's flying right now.
Ted Musgrave could be going to the whip. We haven't even made it to the halfway point, but Timothy Peters is out in front of this field trying to hold off that hard-charging one of Ted Musgrave. Well, in celebration of the 10th anniversary of the Truck Series, we present the toughest NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series moments, made possible by Craftsman, the official tools of NASCAR. Well, moment 5 focuses on a rule that the Truck Series has had since its inception: the green-white checkered finish, guaranteeing the fans a race to the checkered flag. The rule changed in 2004 by NASCAR, stating there would be only one attempt at a green-white checkered finish for all 3 of its top series. That rule would be implemented following the truck race at St. Louis in July of 2004. That's where David Starr found victory lane after a record 4 attempts at a green-white checkered finish.
That was an incredible race right there. And as you mentioned, they'd already established that the rule was going to change after that race, and they put it out in style with actually 4 attempts at a green-white checker. And you saw all the carnage from those 4 attempts at a green-white checker.
NASCAR, the week following that, said this is exactly why we're only going to do 1 attempt at the green-white checker. We're hearing that a black flag being shown to the number 5 of Mike Skinner as he has a rear bumper cover that's coming loose.
You can see it dragging on the track right there.
So Mike Skinner will have to come down pit road, have that taken care of.
It ain't gonna come off.
Well,
somebody will help it come off.
That's Mike hollering that it's not going to come off, but it may come off. If I was Mike, I'd back up to somebody. Let's stop. Sure enough, let it come off.
Then you can get a caution maybe. Mike's running in 7th, Phil, and from 7th back to Rick Crawford in 22nd, they're bumper to bumper. From 7th to 22nd, they're all in 1 turn.
Little contact for our leader, Timothy Peters and Robert Presley. Robert wants that lead.
Robert Presley just behind Timothy Peter in the number 59. Ray, what's going on with Robert Presley?
Well, guys, I just wanted to make sure that he had pitted, so I ran down to check, and they said, yeah, absolutely. He came in on lap 35, went up a couple of rounds on the track bar to try to loosen it up a little bit. Robert said he was pretty good going into the corners, but tight coming off, and now the truck much better. Great run for Presley, a short track veteran.
A little more contact right there. Now, and Mike Skinner, the 5 truck, does come down pit road to remove that rear bumper cover.
Robert Presley had the preferred line on Timothy Peter, but Timothy Peters was able to stay in front of him. Here goes Robert Presley again to the inside.
Robert drives to the inside just to let Timothy know I'm going on the inside here, because Ted Musgrave and Kyle Busch, the 15, have caught this bunch as you see Mike Skinner's rear bumper cover removed.
Timothy Peter holding off Robert Presley. Wendy, how's Timothy doing?
Well, Timothy told me before the race if he gets on that outside groove, he's junk. He knew that in the late model race that he won here 2 weeks ago. He said that outside groove, just like you guys were saying, is not good. If Robert Presley gets inside, he knows he's going to make the pass, so he's trying to protect the inside.
Now Timothy Peters able to get onto the inside of the 13 of Tracy Hines. Hines making his 50th career start in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series today. And now Robert Presley will try to get by that 13, and we've talked about the freight train situation, and Tracy Hines is on the outside now, and he will be sent to the back. 10th and 11th coming out of turn 4. That's Dennis Setzer.
He just worked his way around Todd Bodine.
Yeah, Todd had passed him earlier about, 15 laps ago. And
look at Todd.
Todd's struggling right now. The 17 of David Ruderman drives up underneath him, as does Todd Cleaver in the 50 truck.
Mike Skinner made his pit stop, finds himself the 4th truck 1 lap down, Phil. So a caution flag right now would not help him get his lap back.
We look off the back of Dennis Setzer's truck and we see the damage. It has been a tough day for Dennis Setzer on lap 35. He got spun around, was on the outside and not the preferred line when he tried to make the pass. And then Ted Musgrave, who's currently behind him by 5 points in the points championship, nudges him out of the way.
And it even started before that, because this morning when they allowed the teams to start their engines and warm everything up, they realized they had a power steering pump that was leaking, so they had to change that.
Something happened to the 17 on the front straightaway.
Battle for 2nd and 3rd. Robert Presley just in front of Ted Musgrave. Musgrave running in 3rd position. He was the first one off of pit road on our last pit stop. And we're hearing that there are problems with that 17, as you had mentioned.
I can't tell what happened. Is it brakes, Phil? Is he able to stop that truck right now?
The left side tires look like they're up. He was able to stop.
They've got something besides the tire. I don't know what it is. The thing he just quit running on the front straightaway for some reason.
They're looking underneath it. It makes you think that maybe something with the drivetrain.
Man, he didn't need that. That's a truck that's been in the top 10 in points all year long. He won a couple of months ago in Nashville. Bob, what are they doing to that thing?
They're going to jack it up right now, Michael, and check it out. I just spoke to Bobby Kennedy, and he told me it's either the transmission or the gears. So they got a drivetrain problem on David Ruderman's truck down here, and that is a tough break for the NTN Bearings team because they were actually happy with the truck. David said it was a little tied off, but you can see them right now going underneath that truck, and they're going laps down here, fellas.
Wow. Speaking of backing up, the 59 of Robert Presley, who was just battling for the top spot, has dropped back not only to 4th, but looks like he's off the pace as well. And so Timothy Peter holds on to the top spot. Ted Musgrave, Kyle Busch, and Robert Presley continues to back up. Ron Hornaday now in 4th. Let's take a closer look at the Premier Division of NASCAR in our Nextel Cup update. Top 10 in the chase for the Nextel Cup. Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson locked. 5,777 points.
We thought we had a good battle for the lead here in the Truck Series. A 5-point deficit. 2 guys tied for the lead.
Well, you got 4 guys that can leave here easily just by finishing a couple of spots ahead of one another with the point lead. 4 guys with 5 to go or 4 to go.
We just talked about the battle between the number 4 of Timothy Peter and the number 59 of Robert Presley.
He had a fire on his left rear wheel, like a brake seal had blown out, and was burning, and I think it finally burned the rubber off the tire field.
Yeah, and then he stopped on the racetrack. That's what brought the caution out. We're going to watch him come off turn 4 here. Tire's going to go down. He makes a little bit of contact with the outside wall, but NASCAR deemed that Robert stopped on the racetrack, so there will be a penalty coming for Robert for intentionally causing a caution.
Yeah, NASCAR, we've seen that happen before. NASCAR will react. Sometimes you wonder if they shouldn't make that more of a harsh penalty for a guy stopping on the racetrack. It's not safe, and plus it breaks the rhythm and the harmony of the race a little bit.
While we were away, there was a bit of a lead change. You see the one of Ted Musgrave as he dives on pit road. See him going to drive to the outside of the 4 of Timothy Peters and take over the lead.
Smart move by Timothy Peters there to let Ted have the outside, because there's no way he can hold him off any longer.
Here comes Ted Musgrave as well as Kyle Busch right behind him. Bob.
Terry Cook running 7th right now with that Power Stroke diesel truck. Still a little tight for his truck here today. They're adding some rubbers to the right rear as well as going down on the track bar, but it will be a 4-tire stop and most likely the final one of the day for Terry Cook, right?
No adjustments for Ted Musgrave's Mopar Dodge, but it will be 4 tires. Gene Need, the crew chief, said just make sure everything's tight, boys. We got a great truck here. No mistakes. Darrell Waltrip will go out just ahead of the number 1. Musgrave ahead of the 14. Wendy?
A sigh of relief from Randy Seals when everybody else came down pit road with Timothy Peters. Now, he was the fastest on older tires. He wants to drive smart and save his stop. A good move by Timothy Peters, but they do have a little bit of trouble on the right-hand side tires, and it will be a slow stop for Timothy Peters.
They continue working on the left side now. You see some of the trucks going by him. Taking a little bit longer stop. Timothy Peters led quite a few laps so far. He was able to lead 46 laps. And so now,
what'd he get?
Problems with the 60. Jack Sprague carrying a little extra baggage around. We'll be back for this restart of the Kroger 200. Welcome back to the Kroger 200. With this being such a short race, pit stops are oh so critical. And look at the problems we've had on this stop.
Now watch Musgrave right here. He has to get his left sides on that yellow line, and he barely gets them on the line. That's the first thing that happens. He's racing for a championship. You want to make sure you get the thing on the line.
Now here comes Timothy Peters. He's going to stop in the wrong pit. It's probably his teammate's pit down there. Everybody looks the same. He's in the wrong pit. He's got to come in and stop.
Now watch the 60 leaving the pit here. They drop the jack. He goes. He opens up the 75 like he's a can opener. Tore the whole side off his truck.
And see, that's the fault of the 60 truck right there. You have to be aware of who's coming down pit road if you have room to pull out of your pit stall.
Ricky Craven led the field to the green flag. He has been leading so far for 5 laps.
And may I tell you one other thing that happened under those pit stops?
Fire.
No, the 46 truck was too fast exiting. He's running last again.
For the 3rd time in this race.
Man, sometimes, Phil, you might leave the race and say, I don't think I had my A game today. You know, a quarterback throws a few interceptions. Setzer's made a couple of simple mistakes that I know he's just scratching his head over how he could be doing that right now at his favorite track, Martinsville.
And this is a situation where this happened after most, if not everybody's last pit stop. It's going to be impossible for him to overcome this penalty and win this race because most of these drivers are going to stay on the racetrack. They're done with their pit work. Ricky Craven, Todd Cleaver were 2 of the guys. Actually, there's a few guys that stayed out here that had pitted earlier.
But I don't see those tires being able to hold up, Phil, all the way for another 88 laps. Craven's truck will start slipping. We saw it with Timothy Peters. He drove out, had a lead. He is very comfortable, but eventually those tires will give up grip. So I don't know what strategy Craven's playing right now. Is he planning on staying out the rest of the way?
Michael, he pitted on lap number 54. Last year, Jamie McMurray won this race. You know when he pitted?
No.
Lap 45.
Okay. Well, let me reestablish one other thing right quick. We have missed every call on pit strategy, starting with Richie Rogers at Charlotte and continuing straight on through. I will go on the record right now as saying the 99 cannot win this race with that strategy.
Well, we'll see. We're 85 laps away from the checkered flag, so there is a lot of racing still to be done.
We're probably not done with caution flags either.
Well, I see a bunch of people right now trying real hard to have one. These 2 here in particular. That's Hornaday on the inside of Kyle Busch, and they were banging when they came down the straightaway.
Ron Hornaday hasn't been giving up too much ground. That's Scott Lynch spun around in that Orleans number 62 Dodge.
We were talking about caution flags, and here is one right here. Scott Lynch, former West Series champion, going to get a shot to run these last 5 races in the 62 Orleans Dodge. Long-time associate with Orleans Racing. He was driving for Orleans Racing when he won that West Series championship.
Watch these 2. Everything looks pretty good so far.
And that's under caution.
They're still working it out.
So Scott was on the inside of the 65 of 10 feet away. They made a little bit of contact. Scott probably hooked the curb with his left front tire, and that's probably what turned him around.
And so when the 62 spins, the 77, the beneficiary, Jasper Engine's number 77 will move around to get his lap back. Coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed Channel is brought to you by Chevy. The new Chevrolet is an American revolution. By Aqua Velva. Aqua Velva keeps your face toned and fit. There's something about an Aqua Velva man. By Yamaha, now celebrating 50 years as the world's motorsports leader. And by High Endurance Oils from Mobil, official lubricants of NASCAR.
You know, Aqua Velva has been making people smell good for many years. When do you think the first time somebody tried Aqua Velva?
A long time ago.
Wasn't that the one that it wakes you up like a cool slap on the face? Anything?
Want to try it?
You're pretty big.
Coming to the green flag, we're back underway. Ricky Craven leads Todd Cleaver, Brandon Witt, Kenny Schrader, and Willie Allen currently holding on to the 5th position.
First ever Craftsman Truck Series start. for Willie Allen. See the 59 of Robert Presley pull over to the inside of the racetrack. See if he can make it back to the garage area. Ray?
Hey, Phil, just wanted to add a little bit on Ricky Craven. You know, when you said he finished second here in the spring, that was a real good run for him. They led 13 laps that day. But prior to the start of today, believe it or not, this truck has only led a total of 18 laps in 2005. I couldn't believe it. But I just ran over to his crew chief, John Quinn, and I said, tell me that you're going to stop again. He said, absolutely not, baby. We're going the distance. We are done pitting for the Super Chips Ford.
Oh, great. I bet he wins.
and he said just a few moments ago, there was no way he got away with that pit strategy.
No, but that'll confirm that we went 0 for whatever I predicted. And I'll just remind you two, you've been with me on most of my predictions. What do you think? Can the 99 win on this strategy, Phil?
I think it worked for Jamie McMurray, but I'll tell you, the one of Ted Musgrave is so fast right now. He's working around the 5 of Mike Skinner. That puts him up to the 4th position. I don't know. He's going to be hard to beat.
Well, let me ask you another question. Is that the 99's best chance to win this strategy?
Yes, I think so. For that, he's had a very good truck this entire weekend, but he wanted to try to make something happen. They saw it work last year for Jamie McMurray. Why not try it again?
Right now, we've got the Roush Racing team running 1 and 2. Wendy?
Ray was mentioning how Ricky Craven's staying out while his teammate Todd Cleaver is also on the same strategy. You'd think they'd be running the same setup, but they're running complete opposites. The 99 did test here at Martinsville, but when the 50 truck tried to apply that setup to their own truck, it wasn't working. So they went back to what the 50 truck originally had in the spring, and according to Mike Beam, they are done pitting for today as well.
A lot of beating and banging going on. The 10 of Terry Cook and the 6th of Ron Hornaday were doing some beating and banging. The 15 of Kyle Busch was an innocent bystander, but he was right smack in the middle of it.
Well, if you'll follow these two trucks, I'd say it's not over yet. Ron got mad at the 10. The 10 booted him up out of the way, and Ron doesn't set too well with him, and he's going to go. Well, maybe the 15's mad at the 6. But I'm gonna tell you, the 15's getting ready to feel the 6's wrath here. Watch this.
He backs back off and lets Ron Hornaday hold on to the position, but now moving up on the inside, it'll be a drag race down the backstretch. Ron Hornaday actually got into the back of Terry Cook, shoved him into the corner. Cook had to lock the tires up so he didn't slide up into the wall, and that started this whole melee.
No, that didn't start it. That continued it.
We've been told that the 6 of Ron Hornaday and the 15 of Kyle Busch have both been warned by NASCAR to stop the shenanigans. As 6 gets completely sideways, it allows Kyle Busch to get to the inside. Wendy?
As Ron Hornaday slides a little bit there, he sits 3rd in points, 200 points behind from our leader, Dennis Setzer. Now, when I talked to Ron Hornaday at the beginning of the weekend, he was actually pretty entertaining. He said, I'm in 3rd, but I'm 200 points back. I'm going for broke the last 5 races. He said, I'm not here to make friends.
Well, he's doing a good job of that right now.
There's going to be a lot of people mad at each other after this race.
I think that's a fairly safe assessment of the situation. What about the man Schrader? He's got a good run going today in that truck of his. Bob, what is he saying on the radio?
Well, he loves the truck, actually, Michael. He's having a good time. He is not going to pit again. They are going the distance, but he just radioed into his Federated Auto Parts crew and said, you know what, boys? The brakes are going away.
That is not good. The brake pedal going soft at Martinsville is the beginning of the end.
We look back behind Ken Schrader, number 47 of Willie Allen. Ray?
Hey, Rick, Willie Allen's run at a lot of tracks around here. You know, I mentioned Caraway earlier. He's run at South Boston, up at Hickory. This guy has 6 wins in late models, and a lot of people in this garage area believe that he is definitely going to be a contender. They had a test session for GM young drivers at Caraway here a few months ago, and Willie Allen really came out of nowhere that day. They said, we didn't know much about this kid, but he had some of the fastest times that day. On his first pit stop, he was very, very close to the front line, and Randy Goss told him, hit that brake. Willie Allen said, what'd I do wrong? He said, well, you didn't do anything wrong that time, but you came awfully close.
Running up front, that's Rick Craven. He has led 28 laps here today. We've had 5 different leaders. Timothy Peters has led the most. We're on board, looking back at Darrell Waltrip, running his final race in the Truck Series.
Of course, course, everyone knows if you're going to get a boxed end wrench, you're going to buy it from Craftsman because it's made in America and guaranteed forever. But a couple of years ago, Craftsman came up with an even better idea. They brought out a ratchet end wrench. Now, what's nice about this is when you want to get in on your work, you get the work done a lot faster using that. But here's the problem, folks. Sometimes there's things that are in your way. What if this hose was right there and I was trying to get into a real tight workspace? Well, sometimes you just don't have the space. And that's why Craftsman came up with the locking flex. What this allows me to do is turn the ratchet 180 degrees to put it in whatever position I want it to be. I can go almost 90 degrees, get into a lot tighter situation, and that way I get my work done. Now, the other thing I can do is just switch it over, and I go from loosening to tightening just like that.
Welcome back to Martinsville. Our fifth or sixth caution coming out now as Chase Pistone gets spun around in the 07.
I was talking to Chase's dad, Pete, a guy I used to race baby grands with about 100 years ago. Phil and I both graduates of that series, and he said this is Chase's first start. He's been racing the Pro Cup series on the Hooter side and got off to a slow start today. The thing got hot first or second lap of the race, and now he's crashed.
Did a great job qualifying for this race. Had a pretty good run.
Well, NASCAR is working overtime here at Martinsville as we've had our sixth caution of the day. We want to say a hopeful get well to Joey Holler, who's not with us today, sitting this one out. Wednesday night on Speed Channel, backseat drivers. Marty Smith and Shannon Spake race through the hottest topics and rumors on and off the track. Rapid fire, no holds barred, and no topic is off limits. Backseat drivers Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern only on Speed Channel.
Can I talk to my brother?
Would you like to?
You mind?
Go ahead.
Hey, Darrell, it's Mike up in the speed booth watching you. You got a good truck. Can you retaliate or recuperate from your earlier setback and follow that 46 to the front?
Hello there, Mikey, king of the old Dream Machine and the Napa car. Yeah, that was unfortunate, Mikey. I got bitten by that thing I talk about all the time. That line out over there is not in the last pit box. It's a little further on out on the racetrack, and I guess I was doing 35 instead of 30. So I fought the law, and the law won. I don't know, bud. I was really, really good. This set of tires is a little tighter. Everybody's being held up. It's kind of hard to pass, but I'm gonna get after it here after this restart.
All right, we'll see you get after it. You got all the Toyota people down here in the booth next to me, Lee White and the fellas, and they are cheering you on with every move you make.
Tell them we said hello.
Hey, and by the way, I'll have to let you go. Right now we're coming to one to go, but the boys in the booth, Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, all the help, Keith D'Alessandro, we want to say thank you for the great shots, and have a fun-filled rest of your day.
Thanks, Mike. You know, I just am so excited. You know, everybody's got the DW, thanks DW on their hood. We got Boogity Grills, DW store. We got it all. It's been a great weekend. Glad I got the race. I'm having a ball. Like you said earlier, I'm passing people, and that's what it's all about.
Okay, brother. Love you. Hang in there.
Man, love you too. Let's get it done.
Well, I think the only thing we missed there was Domino's, Michael. I don't know. What do you think? You guys hit about every sponsor you've ever driven for.
I just feel a little emotional right now. He loves me, and I just would like to have a hug.
Have a sit. No thanks.
Oh, thank you.
That was nice of you, Phil. Ricky Craven out in front of this one. Todd Cleaver. So two Roush trucks running 1 and 2. We've seen this before. John Wood, Carl Edwards have done the same thing in years past.
Ted Musgrave's got a horse. He was up on the outside of Brandon Witt. I'm glad he decided to think better of that move. We haven't seen anybody be able to drive around the outside of a fast truck yet. If Ted gets hung out there, he could go from 3rd or 4th to 15th in a hurry.
Especially right after this restart when everybody is jumbled up right now, single file. He's got to pick his spots. He's got to be able to turn down in the center of the corner, get that nose up underneath Brandon, and beat him down to the next corner.
You know, and he needs to be patient right now, but he's got Kyle Busch right behind him, and Kyle, he can't even spell patient. He wants to go. He's going to have that thing wide open, so he knows, Ted Musgrave knows it's time to go. You got to go.
Look at this graphic right here, Michael. We haven't talked about it a lot, but as of right now, Dennis Setzer would be behind by 42 points, but he's making his way towards the front. We saw him go to the back of the field 3 wide going in turn number 1. Fortunately, Brad Keselowski, the 29, backs off, but Dennis Setzer's made his way back into the top 15. He went back all the way to the back 3 times, and he's back up into the top 15.
And that truck's fast right now, Phil. He's passing trucks And his lap times, look at him down on the inside there, right behind Johnny Benson. His lap times are right where he wants them to be. This could be a very productive 47 laps for Dennis Setzer because of the way that thing's working right now. He's got some cats ahead of him on older tires. He knows how to run this track. He's going to make up a lot of ground and a lot of points in these last few laps.
And he's trying it on the outside. We haven't seen anyone able to do that. Dennis is going to try it on Johnny Benson, the 23 truck.
He's got to make this move stick because look behind him. There comes the 16 of Bobby Labonte. Now Bobby's a... Not
Sideways,
again.
Dennis Setzer goes.
Come on.
Johnny Benson, they're 3 wide as they come out of turn number 2. That's Bobby Labonte in the 16 just in front of Johnny Benson. And on the outside now, it is Dennis Setzer.
Oh, caution. Caution. That's the trouble. Oh, crash off turn 4.
That's David Starr with problems.
Wow, did the 22 hit that gate hard.
NASCAR was reporting that there was oil in that part of the racetrack, and I'm sure that's what contributed to this situation here. You see, that's Bill Lester right up against the gate in the Crown Royal Toyota Tundra.
Well, he hit that wall as hard as you can at Martinsville. That was a big crash.
We saw the window net just going down on the 22 as well.
Well, they actually got together before that, where the oil was. Looked like the 62 of Scott Lynch was completely sideways there. Not sure if he may have had some contact to get him that way.
Got loose there, but why, we don't really know. And then Bill Lester was just a victim of circumstance, as was the 75.
A lot of debris there, and we had just heard that the potential was that there was fluid in turn number 4.
Look at all the stuff, Phil. That tells you what kind of impact these trucks take when they run. There was parts and pieces flying everywhere.
And this is one of the slow, if not the slowest racetrack on the circuit. You get down to about 60 miles an hour in the center of the corner, up to about maybe 95 or 100, 120 actually on the straightaways.
7th caution has come out at Martinsville. We're inside. We'll be back to finish this one out as we're inside 40 laps of racing to go. Welcome back to Martinsville, Virginia, and the Martinsville Speedway. We're under a red flag condition now as they've got fluid down on the track in turns 3 and 4. And so they stopped the trucks on the backstretch to try to clean up this mess that just took place, bringing out our 7th caution of the day. Take another look at why we were under caution and this red flag condition.
See the 62 of Scott Lynch get sideways, and that's where they're putting Speedy Dry down, so he may very well have gotten some oil, but he made some contact with this 22 Bill Lester on the outside. David Starr came along, was an innocent bystander, and he had quite a bit of damage. You see the Crown Royal Toyota Bill Lester right there.
Full Bill Lester back behind the wall. Take control of America's fastest sport with Speed NASCAR TV on demand, including NASCAR Race Rewinds, NASCAR Victory Lane, and NASCAR Beyond the Wheel. Updated every week and totally free. Check with your local cable provider for Speed NASCAR TV on demand now. We'll be back with the restart of the Kroger 200 right after these messages. Track cleanup continuing at Martinsville Speedway. The jet dryers just waiting to fire up and blow off some of the Speedy Dry. The drivers have been given some water as they're stopped on the backstretch.
Who's that? Brandon Witt. See his little, he's got on spectacles. People at home might find that interesting. Uh-oh.
He doesn't want the water anymore. He's had enough.
Do you think we ought to see what Schrader's doing in his truck?
Let's check with Schrader.
Hey, Schrader, it's Mike, Phil, Rick, and all the gang up in the speed booth. We were just wondering how you're doing.
Well, Mikey, we're not having that bad a day. We elected to stay out there. We pitted early and going to do it in one stop. And I think it'd be going quite a bit better if my brake pedal was cooperating a little bit better.
Brake troubles at Martinsville. That's the beginning of the end sometimes, isn't it?
Well, it's just, you know, I'm having to be easy on them getting in because otherwise they fade a little bit. And then, you know what starts happening then is the whole world starts going downhill. So we're just kind of being easy on them. These yellows are helping us a little bit.
Well, let's ask your opinion on the track itself. There seems to be a lower groove and then nothing.
Yeah, that pretty much looks like that from here. I'm sure it looks like that from up there, too. You know, we'd sure like to see them do what they did to this place a couple years ago before they repaved it. Put some big grooves in the bottom. They made a good attempt. They tried to take a little grip out of the bottom when they poured the concrete, but it's still too good down there.
Well, we have a leader up there on the same strategy and on the same pit strategy that you're on. Ricky Craven's leading the race. Is his tires going to hold up? Will his tires hold up where he can win this race today?
I think it's a good strategy. I mean, we just you see what's going on in the mid-pack, and I mean, it's I watch in my mirror because it looks a little exciting, while I'm going down straightaway. But it's pretty rough back there. To come from the back here in 100 laps is a little tougher. So I think Ricky made the right call. We're happy with our call. We're just not quite pleased with the brakes.
10-4. We thought Ricky made the call to win the race too. Think it's going to work out good for him. So we're going to sign off for now, Schrader. We'll talk to you later.
Well, if you think it was a good call, then I know it was, because you're my hero. I always look up to you, Mikey.
All right, real quick. I told him he could never win the race doing that, and it looks like he's going to. So
don't tell anybody.
Keep it between me and you. We're going to go to break now.
All right, bud.
Some of Ken Schrader's crew listening in as well on that radio communication, enjoying it. Dennis Setzer's gone from the back to the front a couple of times. We'll see if he can make it up before the end of this race. And welcome back. We recap today's race. It started under cloudy conditions. Darrell Waltrip making his swan song here in the Craftsman Truck Series. The final start for him in the trucks. And as soon as we got started, it got spun around. Bobby Hamilton gets spun around with Mike Skinner. Two veterans in this series having some problems early, and then the continuing problems of the 46 of Dennis Setzer.
Well, the beginning of the problems, Dennis Setzer spins out trying to make a pass down on Brandon Witt into the corner. That just starts the myriad of problems he's had today.
This is the next problem. Shoots down into turn 3, just too deep. Phil gets in there a little hard, and the thing spins around. Watch this left front. Bam! Hits the wall, but yet the truck's still fast. He's still picking up spots.
Looking back from Dennis Setzer's truck, we see Tam Topham getting spun around by number 5 of Mike Skinner.
Robert Presley's left rear brake has developed some sort of a seal leak, and it caught on fire, and he's going to end up blowing out that left rear tire. It blew right there. He stops on the racetrack, and it brings out another caution flag.
Then a lap 117. Problems with Scott Lynch getting spun around, and also involved in that the 75 Spears Manufacturing Chevrolet of David Starr, and then those two involved in another one and collecting Bill Lester in this one, most recently coming out at lap 155. The yellow flag has come out. They're finally getting the Speedy Dry off the track. The trucks will be running around the track, and we'll see the restart when we come back. The Toyota Spotlight lets us take a closer look at where today's field of Toyota Tundras are currently running. And we also are able to take a look at some of the other drivers signing that Toyota Tundra of Darrell Waltrip. See Dennis Setzer and Rick Crawford putting their names not only on the hood of the truck, but the hood that's painted on the hood of the truck. A lot of other messages being sent to DW. Thanks, DW, not only on the hood of some trucks, but also on the tailgate. And we see that Brandon Witt faring the best so far of all the Toyotas, running in the 3rd position.
Remember, he had to start at the back. He changed engines. He actually had broken engine qualifying. He had to go to the back along with Dennis Setzer, and he's made his way with some good pit strategy up to the 3rd position. There's a good shot at Brandon right there with DW Boogity Grill on the hood.
Well, that truck's fast too, Phil. He used pit strategy, but man, he's able to hang right with those leaders as well. We saw Ted Musgrave look at trying to get on the outside of Brandon Witt, thought better of it. So it'll be interesting to see how these last 40 laps play out with those 4 trucks in the front. Differing pit strategy. There's DW. He's running back in the 17th spot. He's all laid up in there.
Remember, he had to overcome a penalty for speeding on pit road, or he would be a little bit farther up. He had worked his way up just about to the top 15 after starting back in 30th before his first pit stop. So he had a great run going, and still has a chance at salvaging a pretty good finish.
Well, tomorrow on Speed Channel, the Champ Car World Series heads to Australia. Current champion Sebastien Bourdais has the points lead, but can the Flying Frenchman hold on to it? Find out. Champ Car World Series Australia coverage begins tomorrow at 4 only on Speed Channel. Ray, what's going on with the #1 Mopar Dodge?
Hey, Rick, just wanted to let you know I was standing in their pit a moment ago, and Richie Water, the crew chief for Kyle Busch's number 15 Ditech Chevy, came over and he said to Gene Neat, he said, hey, I just wanted to let you know we're not racing for points, and Kyle is going to be going for the win, so let Musgrave know that we're going to start making some holes. Gene Neat says, you're going to need a lot bigger shovel than that, man. He says, because Ted's already digging. so don't worry about trying to get by us because it's not going to happen.
Wow.
Well, that's good communications right there.
Wonder
Let
if
the crew chief know.
Wonder if Gene called up Ted and said the boy behind you is getting impatient and he will be attempting to make a hole, and I told him that you wouldn't be.
That he didn't have a big enough shovel.
Exactly. Ray, have they communicated back and forth about all this stuff?
Yes, they have, Michael. They've been on the radio there talking about it. They said, get yourself ready. Musgrave says, trust me, man, I am definitely ready. Now, let me ask you some trivia up there in the booth, guys, real quick. You had mentioned we see the 99 and the 50 up front. Do you have any idea how many times in NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series competition Roush Racing has finished a race in first and second position?
12?
That's
incorrect.
I'm going to say 8.
You were close, Phil. It was 9 times. 6 of those with Greg Biffle in the mix right there. And the last time, I think you already mentioned, the last time it happened was right here at Martinsville with Carl Edwards and John Wood.
John Wood getting the victory in that one. Carl Edwards coming in second. Was back in 2004.
So we're going to be looking for a little bit of action here between the 1 and the 15 as they try to figure out how to get to the front.
Saw Terry Cook, the 10 truck, throw the block on Ron Hornaday. Ron had a good start. Terry pulled to the inside to not allow him to get there.
Wow. This is when the caution flag becomes a big part of the deal. Somebody just drove on the inside of Spencer, spun him out, straightened him back up.
Problems with Rick Crawford as well as Bobby Labonte.
DW slips through the middle of it.
Another caution coming out. That's the 8th caution of the day.
I think Bobby Labonte got a piece of Dennis Setzer. I think something's wrong with Dennis Setzer's truck right now.
A lot of smoke coming out of the 60.
That's oil going all over the racetrack. We'll have to re-rack the red flag and get the blowers out because that's oil.
Dennis Setzer also coming down pit road, and we saw that pit road was closed.
It doesn't matter.
They got come down.
Damage. Here's what happened. Todd just roots his way on the inside, just gets on the inside of Spencer, and watch the aftermath of this. These guys 6-8 trucks back can't see what's going on, and they just keep piling into one another. Right back in there, a whole storm of things.
It was like a tornado took over on the track.
I love that thing. How do you do that? Right there. You can see what happened.
So Todd Bodine and Jimmy Spencer and
big damage to the point leader.
Yeah,
that's why he made his way on pit road, even with the pit road closed. He knew he had to get in and make some repairs.
What a day for Dennis Setzer.
Bobby Labonte would have done a great job avoiding that situation, but Dennis Setzer happened to be trying to sneak by on the inside and then make some contact. Here's what Bobby Labonte saw right here.
Now look, he's down in this truck. He's not up on the roof. He couldn't see what happened and just didn't have time to react, Phil. That's what
in the back.
I think what you have to understand, that camera's set up on top of the truck. Bobby's down in the truck. He can't see where we're able to see.
Bumper cam from Jimmy Spencer.
In there, you're all clear. He's in there.
Oh, you can see that little nudge, just the first little pop.
Did we not hear his sponsors or his spotter say all clear, and that's when the contact happened?
Well, he'd already got hit once.
Come on.
Could be a bit of a delay on that radio, too.
Watch him. Come on. Caution's out.
Bob, what's going on with our most recent winner at Martinsville?
Well, you can tell when they take the baseball hat and apply it to the left front fender, that's not a good sign. Bobby came over the radio, as you guys pointed out, and said, hey, I just had no place to go. But he's been struggling this entire race. He said, sorry, guys, but with limited amount of brakes, I just haven't been able to work my way up to the front. But tough day for the most recent winner in the Craftsman Truck Series here.
And that's typical racing as the laps wind down on a track that has one groove, Phil. Todd Bodine got an inch on Jimmy Spencer. They made contact. Todd said, I'm going in there anyway, and they fought over that spot, and it caused a crash that it has created a mess on the racetrack. There's oil everywhere. 6-7 trucks were involved in it, and
including our point leader Dennis Setzer.
I really think we got to look hard at what we're going to do about this track, how to get some better side-by-side racing, some more room for guys to operate.
Well, this is the last short track race of the year. Next race will be next week in Atlanta Motor Speedway, October 29th, 3 p.m. Eastern. They go back to the Super Speedway. It's the mile-and-a-half track of Atlanta Motor Speedway. Ron Hornaday beat Bobby Labonte in that race earlier this year by only 8/1000ths of a second. Hopefully we won't have the problems we're having today at Martinsville. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed Channel is brought to you by Craftsman, celebrating 10 years tough of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. By Dodge, you can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. By High Endurance Oils from Mobil, official lubricants of NASCAR. And by Yamaha, now celebrating 50 years as the world's motorsports leader.
Wow, look at that crowd today.
Terrific crowd here.
Look at all those people. Wait, how many people do you think that is? 40,000?
I'd say it's got to be at least 35 to 40,000. I saw where they announced that tomorrow's Nextel Cup race is completely sold out here.
And the NASCAR Busch Series race over in Memphis is completely sold out. That's a cool track. You can race all over that thing.
Just like Atlanta, we talk about not having much room here. We're going to see a lot of side-by-side racing at Atlanta, 3-wide racing.
Ooh, remember the finish in the spring?
8/1000th of a second.
I can't wait to watch them race at Atlanta next week.
We've got a little racing left here, though. We've got 31 laps right now.
Still a little debris in turns 3 and 4, and so they will get the NASCAR officials out there to clean some of that up. Ray?
You know, guys, we talk all the time about the front runners in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Of course, with 36 wins, Roush Racing is tied with Ultra Motorsports with 36. So we've got 2 Roush trucks up there in front. We've got an Ultra truck in 4th, but don't forget, we've got a Red Horse Racing truck right there in 3rd, Brandon Witt, who won at Memphis. They only have 1 career victory, and I'm not sure we can count him out of this race yet. But 36 versus 36, the battle continues between Roush and Ultra.
Brandon Witt in that DW Boogity grill on the hood of that truck.
DW likes flames. I think when he saw that truck here with flames on it, he said, I got to put my grill on the side of that thing. What is a Boogity grill? I guess you cook on it?
Well, you should probably know that.
I know I should.
It's not the grill of a truck?
A lot of times what I do on my research prior to the race just includes the competition, what the trucks are doing. Spencer's truck's got me interested right now. Bobby D, what do you got?
Jimmy Spencer's truck towed out right now. That thing's not going to handle for the remainder of this race, and it's a shame because Jimmy really worked with that truck throughout the race to get it into the top 10. But, you know, he and Todd Bodine have gotten together on just a few other occasions this year. And I remember one back in New Hampshire where they were not all too happy with each other after the race. And Jimmy's not all too happy this time either.
Well, I think if I were you, Bob, I'd kind of try to settle around where Jimmy and Todd wind up after the race and see if they're either one of them voice their displeasure. Check out this, Phil. Look how low that tire is right there. See that?
Some of these people run as low as 10 pounds of air on these left side tires here. Even when they're in qualifying, the left side tires look like they're flat.
That's just to help get grip as those tires, the brakes heat that tire up. The front tires get real hot here at Martinsville because of the big brakes and the tremendous stopping force you've got to apply to get around these tight turns. So as the front tires and wheel assembly gets hot, the air goes up and the thing won't stick. So you got to start it really low.
We were just asking what a Boogity grill is. Ray, do you know what a DW Boogity grill is?
I've got it right here for you guys. Here's the Boogity grill. This is a nice little thing you can take out and do tailgating. You get it all set up, you're ready to go. And look, it comes with this nice handy carrying bag. It's got Darrell's picture on it, all that nice stuff. Brought to you by Lowry's. The Boogity grill ready to go. And these guys are hot, and we can get this hot and cook some burgers for Victory Lane.
I think it's safe to assume that you do not have a DW Boogity grill at this point.
I think that's an oversight on DW's part that none of us have one, or we would be more knowledgeable about them.
Look how quick it breaks down.
Oh, wow, that's impressive. Let's get a shot of the guy doing that. He's on it.
And it goes about that quick.
He's got a hat with flames on.
Look at him. He's putting it back together just as quickly. Look at. He must have used to work on The Price is Right, because I've never seen anybody as elegant. Is that enough about Boogity Grill?
I think so.
Good. They're going to race again in a minute.
Randy Kaiser brings the pace truck back down on pit road. Ricky Craven looking for his first ever win in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, as is his teammate who's right behind him, Todd Cleaver. The green flag flies. We're back to racing.
Good start by the leaders. Smooth start by all 3 trucks up front.
You're not seeing very many people venture to the outside to try to take advantage of a slow get up and go.
Man, and these guys are just going to be hawking that bottom. They're not going to let anyone get on the inside. So the only choice they have, the only option they have is to hope just to nudge a guy enough, Phil, to get him up out of the way.
And you bring up nudging. We heard from the crew chiefs of the number 15 and the number 1. That's pretty much in the plan right now.
Well, that won't work, because if the 15 nudges the 1, then the 1's going to get mad and he's going to nudge the 15 back, and it's going to cause a crash.
There's the 8, gets into the side of the 14 of Rick Crawford. Deborah Renshaw on the inside. Brendan Gaughan, the 77 Jasper engines, dodge right behind them.
It's like Renshaw having trouble keeping the truck all the way down on the curb and having run Rick Crawford up on the track a little bit higher than he'd like to run.
She's running good, though. She's in the top 20.
Rick got very, very loose that last time on the,
Made the move.
outside group. She's going to get the spot.
That's a pole sitter she just drove around.
Pretty impressive run for Deborah here, I think.
Right behind Deborah, the 77 Jasper engines and transmissions Dodge of Brendan Gaughan. Currently running in the 16th position. And our points as of now, Musgrave would take over the top spot from Dennis Setzer. He'd be ahead of him by 69 points.
Wow. These guys are packed in there tight up front.
Wendy, what's going on with Crawford?
We saw Crawford lose a spot there. His brakes have been going bad for quite a few laps, so he is experiencing the same exact problem that Ken Schrader is.
Schrader's beginning to fall back through the field, guys. Timothy Peters got under him. Here comes Bobby Hamilton around Crawford.
That's the 18th position right there they're battling for. We haven't seen a whole lot of Bobby Hamilton since that very early spin inside the first 10 laps of the race.
Yeah, I thought he would have a good day as well as he qualified, but it got bad right off the start, kind of like Setzer's day.
Where Setzer's day has started off bad and been bad this entire race. Here he is right there on the inside of the 29 of Brad Keselowski. They're racing for the 22nd position right now.
He had a wreck again on our last caution before last, so he's trying to heal some wounds, gain some points. That's 3 more points as he goes around Keselowski.
Dennis Setzer back in 23rd position, but a guy having a great run in his first ever run is the 47 of Willie Allen. Willie Allen actually a teammate to Dennis Setzer, driving that number 47 truck today.
He really is doing a great job. He's got the 10 of Terry Cook right behind him. He's got a little bit of breathing room. He's got a truck length or 2. Ray, what's going on with Willie?
Well, Phil, I just wanted to let you know it's not official yet, but it's a very, very good chance. We got to spin in turn 2. We'll get back to that story.
Spinning around Deborah Renshaw and the 77 Jasper Dodge of Brendan Gaughan. And so on lap 183, our 9th caution of the day comes out.
Tough break for Deborah. She really had a great run going, as you mentioned earlier.
Don't hit him, don't hit him. Just pull him next. No! Stop now. He said he's sorry. He said he lost it. He lost it.
Obviously, the 77 of Brendan Gaughan made some contact with Deborah, and she's not happy about it, but you heard either her spotter or crew chief tell her just to, he said he was sorry. He didn't mean to do it. Just don't run into him.
That sure is cool of the spotter to take control of the situation like that, because Deborah is emotional right then. She got what she felt done wrong, and she wanted to express her her displeasure, and her spotter was really smart.
This is after the situation. This is when we heard the spotter start talking to her. Said, "Don't hit him, don't hit him, don't hit him."
And she did good. She decided not to hit him, and
she's going to make it known that she's not happy about it.
What's cool about that is there will be no penalties forthcoming.
Phil, Michael, look at the trucks. This is our last short track race of the year, and look at the carnage on the racetrack right now. I mean, we have got trucks that don't have parts of the bodies on the sides.
It wouldn't matter if this was the first short track.
It looks like Martinsville to me.
This wouldn't matter if this was the first short track race of the year. These guys are in a tough position out there. And you know, Ricky Craven, I mean, that's he doesn't even have a door. Somebody took his door.
Tough trucks, tough racing, and this is how that took place right here.
The 60 of Jack Sprague pulls out of his pits, and
you can't do that, Phil.
No, you can't. You've got to have a clear opening. Now these fellas are probably just coming in the pits, so he really didn't benefit by pulling out and hitting them because he was running up front. he was probably leaving his pit where they were coming in, so they were going to have to pull off into their pits anyway. It was not a good move by Jack Sprague, and somebody should have been aware enough to tell him, hey, wait a minute, you don't have any room, because you can see pit road right here. You've got you've got only 3 lanes of traffic there, and it's even tighter in the corners.
Let's get back down to Ray Dunlap talking about the 47 of Willie.
Well, thanks, Rick. Basically what I just wanted to add was it's a very good possibility that this 47 team will go full-time in 2006. They haven't made that final commitment yet, but they're very close to doing that, and they're looking for a driver. This is going to be an awfully good run for Willie Allen if he's able to stay in that position. They have not made a decision as to who will drive that. But I do want to talk about our 2006 Rookie of the Year class. I mean, there are some big names, and guys, I know you can add to this. Erin Crocker has announced that she's going to be coming running here. There's a very good chance Joey Miller will be full-time in the 12 truck. We know that Bobby East is going to be running some races for Ford, and Clayton Rogers has already done a great job. We know the 2 new drivers that will be coming for Roush and Justin Hopgood. So if you were to add Willie Allen to that list, we would be talking about one crazy Rookie of the Year class in 06.
If we added Willie Nelson to it, it would really be crazy.
Well, I was close. That's a lot of names in that list.
Redheaded Stranger would make things interesting around here. I'm going to tell you what might be a new record, Phil. Jarrett Johnson just got the free pass to put himself back to 34 laps down. He's
got to be the farthest back ever to get a free pass.
Now, Stedman Marlin said he got the free pass so many times last Friday night in Charlotte. He said he got the lucky dog so many times he woke up Saturday morning with fleas.
Well, Todd Cleaver right behind our leader, Ricky Craven. What's going on with Todd, Wendy?
I've been camped out here in the 50 pit for quite some time. Mike Beam and I were just talking on these caution laps. He said, well, I seem to think that Ted Musgrave, who's running 4th, is not going to give us that much trouble. When you look at the points right now, and he's leading Dennis Setzer by so many points, he thinks that Ted Musgrave is just going to look for a solid finish, and they're not going to give the 50 truck a whole lot of trouble. And hopefully all of these trucks up front will still finish and not try and wreck each other out.
Well, Wendy, he's going to have to get by the 38 before he can get to the 50.
These guys have had a tough year, Phil.
Yeah, Ricky Craven's pits right there.
And it can all be made better if the next 12 laps go as smooth as the last 100 have for this bunch.
Green comes out. Here we go. 12 laps of racing to go.
Let's don't underestimate the fact that Ricky Craven's teammate, as Wendy mentioned, the 50 truck of Todd Cleaver is right behind him. You have to feel like your teammate's not going to take you out anyway.
He might heat you up a little bit, but he's not going to run over you. And there's other guys out there that you just don't know what to expect out of them next.
Brandon Witt has won on a short track, won at Memphis earlier this year. He's running in 3rd position. The 2 trucks in front of him are without a win in the Craftsman Truck Series.
Remember, Brandon Witt made a last lap pass of Ron Hornaday to win that race in Memphis.
And I sure do like the way Ricky's able to get him just a little breathing room, Phil. If you can just get you a half a car, I mean, that's enough.
That's perfect.
That's all you need. But you do need that. Look at these guys behind him. The 38 is all over the 50. The 15 was up into the back of Musgrave.
Well, the 38 running in 3rd position, but up front, that's Ricky Craven holding on to the top spot. If Ricky Craven can hold on and win this race, that would tie the all-time record of different winners in a season for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
And it would also add him to the list of the drivers that have won in all 3 major divisions of NASCAR.
He would be the 15th driver to put his name into that category. And right now he's got some distance between himself and his teammate Todd Cleaver.
Oh, Ray, the 99, their season's been terrible, but this will make it okay.
Yeah, I think it will, Michael, and just keep in mind, it's been 29 races since Roush last won. It was Carl Edwards at Bristol a whole year ago, so these guys know what kind of pressure's been on them. I talked with Ricky Craven before the race, and I said, what is your future right now? He said, it is undetermined as of right now what I'll be doing in 2006. This may be a nice shot in the arm for a guy who's had a rough second half of the year.
Ray, did you let them know there was no way they could win with this strategy?
Yeah, I told him, and John Quinn said, we're going to the front, not stopping again, no matter what Michael says.
Okay, good. Glad they didn't listen to me.
It'd be nice to put on your resume that I got a Truck Series win in Martinsville if he's out looking for a job. And isn't this about, what, 80 laps ago, 100 laps ago, didn't you say that there was no way that Ricky Craven would win with this pit strategy?
Wasn't going to happen. I think just circumstances lended itself to it.
Jamie McMurray used the same strategy, Phil. You had documented it earlier. This is the way he won the race. An early pit stop for him and then stayed out. Track position so critical here at Martinsville.
Phil, you could have told me that. I don't know where I was in April, but I don't think I remember it happening like that.
That was actually this race last year.
Darrell Waltrip running his final race.
And he is
the NASCAR
all over
Craftsman
Matt
Truck
Crafton.
Series. We see a little damage to the back of that, but currently running in the 13th position, trying to take away a position from Matt Crafton.
Yeah, he's trying to get that spot. Setzer's still struggling back behind Darrell, but he's been really competitive today, Phil.
He really has. And you see the gap in front of Matt Crafton, the 88. So you know Darrell wants to get by him. Now, I mean, yeah, Darrell may be racing for the 12th position right here with Matt Crafton, but every spot counts, and he's a race car driver. He wants to get that spot.
Out in front, coming out of turn number 4 with just 1 mile of racing to go before he claims his first ever win in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. It's Ricky Craven.
Man,
Super Chips Ford.
I love the fact that Craven's out front here at Martinsville. You know, he came to Martinsville a few years back in that tide ride, needing a shot in the arm, needing something good to happen, and won a cup race right here at this track. And now he's driving away from him. As soon as he crosses the start-finish line, 1 to go. This race is his.
Right, it's not going to be a green-white checker because they've already taken the white flag. He's got about a 10-truck length lead over his teammate Todd Cleaver. Could be a 1-2 for Roush.
Down the backstretch, Ricky Craven has put 10 truck lengths between himself and second place Todd Cleaver. As he comes out of turn 4, the checkered flag will fly. The Kroger 200 goes to Ricky Craven.
Wow, that's a great story, man. I'm so happy for Ricky Craven.
Nice job, Ricky Craven. Nice job.
What a shot in the arm for Ricky Craven and the entire 99 Super Chips organization.
Way to go, Rick. Way to go, John.
Sounded like Mike Beam, crew chief for Todd Cleaver.
This one's for you. I really appreciate you never giving up. We don't give up on you, man. Burn that thing down. Give us a show.
Look at the team. He's fixing to pull up on the front straightaway here. His team's on the wall. They're wanting to tell Ricky what a great job he did. Look at this.
It's been a long time since Ricky Craven has visited Victory Lane, but now he'll be able to do it in a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series truck. Ray Dunlap's caught up with his crew chief.
Well, thank you, Rick. Congratulations to John Quinn. This has been a long time coming. Kind of a new position for you, but you guys finally got this thing worked out.
Yeah, we got her pointed in the right direction here, and I'll tell you what, got to thank all the guys back at the shop, Bobby Hudson and all his guys, all the guys back painting body, all the guys in the mechanical area putting these things together. To come down here to Martinsville with Jack Roush F-150s and Roush Yates power under the hood, Super Chips on the quarter panel, World Financial and Rotella kicking in a little bit, and then to come out here with Ricky Craven and win, that's as cool as ice hockey right there, I'll tell you.
Let me show you guys real quick. If you don't go away, here, open up that book for me, John. Let's show them what your last note here was. He had a lot of notes about the day, and at the bottom, he just jotted in 3 little letters. Finally the win for Ricky Craven.
Let's take a look at the Mobil 1 move of the race, and as everyone else on the track decided to come down pit road, Ricky Craven thought his move of the race would be to stay out.
I just wanted to make sure that's actually how it happened, but it looks like that's indeed what he did, right?
Lap 54 right there. That was his only pit stop and final pit stop. He used great pit strategy, got out front, and nobody was able to get by.
Looks good too, doesn't it? Got that Super Chips Ford with the checker flag out the side of it. Ricky Craven, a winner at Martinsville.
Craven, the 15th different driver to win in all 3 divisions. Speed Channel's coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series post-race show is presented by Craftsman. Let's go down and get to Victory Lane with Ray Dunlap.
Well, Ricky Craven has already climbed out of this Super Chips Ford. The family is here, and we've been standing around talking to you about it for a long, long time now, and weren't quite sure was it going to happen. Were you positive that this was going to be the day?
It was a lot of work, but an exceptional truck and a little redemption for us. Gosh, it's like you and I have talked about. It's been miserable. It doesn't make much sense really, but we got some confidence back, and this is a good place for me to come and get that confidence back, and we should be back on track now. But I want to say thanks to everybody. I also want to say hi. I was thinking a lot, short track. I was thinking a lot about the Busch North days. I want to say hi to everybody back home. Mike Rode, Dave Dion. I don't know how old they are, but they've been winning races. I'm thinking I'm not too old if these guys are still winning races, but I got a great family. They're all here today, which was awesome, and really glad just to get it behind me. You know, sometimes you start thinking about it, and it makes it worse. So I'm glad to get it behind me.
Tell me about that roller coaster, though, Ricky, because the first part of this season, you guys are on top of the world. You finished second here. You're right up there in the points, and then all of a sudden it drops off the cliff.
Yeah, and I think that, the momentum is a hard thing to get. It's even harder to keep it. And we swapped things around, and it didn't work. And I'm not going to say we panicked, but, we lost our way. I think we just found our way. John Quinn did an excellent job. He deserves a lot of credit. I'm real happy for Super Chips because they deserve a little better than what they've got. Of course, Ford, really appreciate everybody, really. And, least of which Jack Roush. Jack and Jeff Smith, they gave me an opportunity. This is what I wanted to do. I was looking to have some fun again, and today I had some fun.
Let me promise you something. Everybody in the booth said you had horrible strategy today. I think you proved us all wrong. Let's go to Wendy Venerini.
Okay, you're looking at Todd Cleaver's truck, a lot of damage. You would never guess that he came home second today. This is your third second-place finish of the season. You're still looking for that elusive win, but what a great day for you.
Yeah, it was a good day for us. My World Financial Group Ford F-150 was awesome. I think that's the first time we've had a 1-2 finish for Ford this year. Well, first 1-2 finish for Roush Racing. Ricky was just better than us. I mean, I had a shot at him for a lap or two after a restart, and that was it, and then he just slowly drove away from me. He's pretty much the master here. And he's been helping me a lot, and I was happy to see him win. If it had been anybody else, maybe I'd have roughed him up on one of those restarts. But
you've told me that you don't like this racetrack. Are you getting second thoughts about that?
Well, I did say on the radio today that I said this place ain't so bad when you can run good. Last time we were here, we just didn't run very well, and I think that led to a little bit of my distaste for this place. But, it was a good day for us. We came out of here about as good as we could. One more spot would have been better, but we got a new truck that we're taking to Atlanta and Texas and stuff, and it's better than my old trusty that I finished second with a couple times already. So we're going to get our win before the season's over.
All right, we've been holding him. He wants to go congratulate Ricky Craven in victory lane. Bob?
You're looking at the new Craftsman Truck Series points leader, Ted Musgrave. Ted, Dennis having some problems there today, but how did you balance being a points racer and going for the win in those closing laps here today?
Going for the win. I mean, that's all we have been. Points are they just happen what happens. And, like I say, Dennis had bad luck, and we're not sitting there saying, boy, we got to capitalize on that. He's doing the best he can do. I'm doing the best I can do, and our teams are doing the best. Just, have good luck or bad luck, and good luck's been on our side. Team Mopar's been fortunate enough that we've had some top 5 finishes here lately. And like I say, I got to the point there in being in fourth in track position. From there on, it looked like we were all pretty equal, and it was so hard to pass then. So, don't get me wrong, the guys in the pits got me out front, got me those bonus points, leading some laps and things like that. So it's all coming together. Just got to put a capitalization on it.
Those bonus points were key for Ted Musgrave, a 54-point lead over Dennis Setzer. And he wasn't playing nice with Dennis either today because he nudged him a couple times on the racetrack as well.
And let's look at those point standings. Ted Musgrave leads by 54. 6 races ago, Musgrave was 227 points behind Setzer. That's a 281-point swing over the last 6 races. Speed Channel's coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series post-race show is brought to you by Craftsman, celebrating 10 years tough of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. And one tough driver, DW, is with Bob Dillner.
Down here with Darrell Waltrip, and actually part of the Fox broadcast team. And look, they're doing what they normally do.
We want to see if we can learn anything. Go ahead, Bob.
Well, one and done. You're done with your career here in racing, not in the broadcast booth. This year, exactly. Yeah, will you be coming back?
In all honesty, I know Stevie and the girls are watching. No, honey, I'm not. I got what I wanted. I had a great day, had a good run. Very competitive. I passed.
Right, DW.
Started 30th, got up to 11th, went to the back, got back to 13th. I passed a lot of trucks.
You did, but Jeff, do you believe him?
About being one and done? Yeah. I promise you right now, he's won and he's done, because otherwise I'm going to break his other leg.
An illustrious career for Darrell Waltrip. Kudos to him and the team on a very good run today on the One and Done program.
Well, Jeff My wife told Jeff to threaten me if I said it.
You're never going to get that microphone away from him.
Yeah, they need to get the microphone away from DW. Hey, Jeff Hammond standing there. He had a great performance today as an owner. His truck coming home third with Brandon Witt. Another great performance.
Started off cloudy, had a bunch of storms in the middle of the race, and at the end, the sun shined on our winner. in victory lane for the first time in forever, it seems, for him, Ricky Craven.
37th win for Jack Roush in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. For Michael Waltrip, Phil Parsons, I'm Rick Allen saying so long. Thanks for watching.